Hey guys, this is section 1.3 Distance and Midpoints. There are going to be three formulas, and here are the first two. Here's one, the midpoint formula, and two, the distance formula. Now, you've seen these in Algebra 1, so you should recognize these, but go ahead and write these down just so you have them for the examples, and I'm going to show you the third one on the next slide. Okay, here is the third formula. This is for number line distance. So if you're just given a number line, the other two formulas for if you were given ordered pairs or 2 points. Here you're just given a number line and asked to find the distance. We're going to use this in the first example. So in this example we got to find the distance between -8, which is right here, and 3, which is right here. Now you could just count them off, but in this case we're going to use the formula right here. D is for distance, A and B, doesn't matter which one you use, you'll get the same answer. And if you guys remember, these are absolute value lines from Algebra 1. It means anything inside of these has to be positive once you get the answer. So if you think about it, that makes sense because the distance on the number line, it has to be a positive number. A distance can not be negative. There is no such thing as a negative distance. There are negative numbers, but no negative distance. So let's go ahead and try this first problem. So we have distance equals absolute value of -8 minus 3. And if you subtract that, you'll get -11. Absolute value, the distance will be 11. Alright, and if you don't want to do that, if you want to count it out, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we get 11 too, so this works out. Alright, on to the next example. For this example, they want us to find the midpoint of the line segment with the given points, -4, 4, and -2, 2. So we're going to take the midpoint formula, which was given in the first slide, and we're going to fill it in. The first one was x1 plus x2, so that's going to be -4 plus -2, and that'll be divided by 2. And then for the y, it was y1, which was 4, plus y2, which was 2, all over 2. So if we get -4 plus -2, we get -6 divided by 2. And then for our y's, 4 plus 2 is 6, so we get 6 over 2. So the midpoint would be -3, 3. And that will be our answer. Alright, on to the next example. Okay, here's the distance. Find the distance between each pair of points. So we're going to just follow the formula. We're going to do square root of, and we're going to do x2 minus x1, so that'll be 1 minus 0 squared plus 2 minus 4 squared. And that's all over square root, so 1 minus 0 is just 1, plus 2 minus 4 is -2. Make sure you square it, so that leaves us with 1 squared is 1, plus -2 squared is 4, so our answer is square root of 5. And you can just leave it as square root of 5, don't have to plug it into the calculator. Alright. Next example. It says C is the midpoint of the line segment KH. So instead of a horizontal line segment, I did a vertical one here. So if you see, we got K up top, H on the bottom, and C is in the middle. So if we do the X's first, this is just one way to do it. I'm going to show a second way on the next slide. So if I put -2 here, and it says H has a coordinate of 6 for X, I need to see how far it is from the center to the endpoint, because it's going to be the same distance either way. And if I use the distance formula for a number line, I know that -2 to 6 has a distance of 8. So that means the distance of 8 has to be here. And the number I know is going to be negative, because I have a positive 6 and -2. So I subtracted 6 minus 8, got -2. So I'm going to do -2 minus 8, and that'll give me -10. And that'll be my x value. So let's go over here. For the y, the center is 7. And then the h is 0. So I want to find the distance between. So I know the distance between 7 and 0 is just 7. So I know the distance is going to be 7 up here too. So I just add 7 and 7 because I did 0 plus 7. 0 plus 7 to get to 7. Now I'm going to do 7 plus 7, and that'll give me 14. So the coordinates of point K are going to be -10, 14. I ran out of room here, but it shows that the x value is -10 and the y value is 14. That's one way to do it. And here is a second way. The second way would be to use the formula for midpoint. Now we already know the midpoint of the x value is -2. So I'm going to set -2 equal to the midpoint formula. So I know it's divided by 2, and we'll say k is x1, and then x2 is 6. So if I go ahead and solve this out, if I multiply the 2 to both sides, I'll be left with, let me get a different color here, be left with -4 equals x1 plus 6. Then if I subtract the 6 over, I'll see that x1 is -10, which is just what we had on the other side. Alright, let's go ahead and draw a little barrier line, and let's do it again over on this side. So this will be for the y. I know the y midpoint is 7. So I'm going to set 7 equal to y1 plus 0, because that's what the y value is for h. I'm going to divide by 2. Now if I multiply 2 times 7 to get rid of the 2 on the bottom here, I'm going to get 14, and that will equal y1 plus 0. So that means 14 equals y1. And if you look at the previous slide, that's exactly what we got. So the midpoint is -2, 7, the h coordinate is 6, 0, and then the k coordinate is -10, 14. Now this is it. That's your last example. So make sure to bring any questions. Make sure you've written all of the examples down, and make sure you've written the formulas down. I will be checking this tomorrow.